Today we're going to talk a little bit about mining, and this dilapidated, overgrown site has a rather curious story to tell. Here in Rutland, we have an extensive quarrying history, a fact which is reflected throughout the landscape. In this unassuming spinney lies a clue to that past, and may hint at further mysteries yet to be uncovered. This area is broadly known as Wychley Warren, and evidence exists to support that it has been a site of human habitation since the Neolithic period. Records from Reginald Haynes' address to the Society of Antiquaries in January 1903 note that 2 Neolithic skeletons were discovered at the site by local quarrymen. Haynes' testimony states that in a quarry worked for freestone was found in 1900 a skeleton, probably Neolithic, and in December 1901, at a point around 200 yards from the last where a fresh excavation was being made, a second interment was found, also presumed Neolithic, alongside evidence of fire pits. Haynes' address also links these discoveries to the mining history I mentioned earlier. He states that the remains were incontinently thrown aside and are presently buried under a mass of rubbish from the tunnels which were being worked for stone. This area still has active limestone quarries, though these are all open cast. In G.J. Smith's book, A Villager's View, he discusses how during the early 1900s efforts were made in this area to remove the stone by tunnelling and mining techniques, owing to the tens of feet of clay overburden which was time-consuming and costly to remove. The broad area is referred to by Smith as the Deeps, and what you are seeing here are the remains of the underground mining effort which he mentioned. After the decline of the mining experiments, the area was neglected and has been reclaimed by nature. Nearby are the remains of a farm and the active quarry which still operates today. It is now very overgrown and in a state of advanced decay, and as a result has become a haven for wildlife. Near to the mine entrance is a barn and 2 large concrete troughs which look as though they were used for holding water. They're now quite damaged. There are other buildings, varying from relatively intact to ruinous. One of the more intact structures was allegedly home to a local hermit for some time many years ago. The inside of this large barn is mostly dry, though some damage to the roof has let rot begin to eat away at the rafters. It's quiet here. The sound of the wind and the occasional creak or groan of the ruins adds to the lost world qualities of this site, and the trickle of flowing water invites you to see where it might run to. Following the sound of running water, we come to a large pit which leads down to the entrance of the mine. After mining ceased, this pit was used as a landfill and according to locals was full of rubbish up until the 1990s, when it was finally cleaned up. The pit was re-excavated to expose one of the mine entrances. The portal has been well secured owing to the rather precarious situation inside the mine. It is an enchanting scene. Water trickles down walls carpeted with moss and hart's tongue ferns. It has a primordial feeling to it. Looking into the mine, we can see signs of roof collapse and structural instability. Looking deeper, we can see some sort of fenestrated metal pipe, possibly a pump. It is extremely wet in the mine, and the stone is very fragmented. It does not look ideal for safe mining. This particular drive continues for around 100 metres before reaching a dead end. No other drives are obviously visible at present. However, looking around the pit, there are signs of further workings. The pit has only been partially re-excavated, with much of the other side remaining buried. As the aforementioned report explains, this mass of debris is in a large part human rubbish, and perhaps those Neolithic remains are still buried below. It is probable that other tunnels also remain buried. It is extremely wet, and we can see areas where that water has eroded openings into the soil, washing it down below into a void. This may indicate other drives or tunnels, the entrances of which remain buried, hiding their secrets within. Up above the mine stands a pump house, which may have been involved in either removing water or circulating air in the mine. The pump house sits in an orchard. The remains of a machine and some overgrown brick hardstandings nearby. Moving back towards the mine through the old farmyard, we find another curious feature in the vicinity. It is a linear formation of what appear to be large sinkholes running in a line to the west. These formations also continue in the same alignment on the other side of the quarry. Sinkholes form when topsoil is washed underground by water running into cavities below the surface. I wonder whether these sinkholes are the result of natural cavities in the limestone below, or if they could be clues to the presence of further tunnels leading out from the pit. Natural caves and chasms do exist in the limestone seam here. Around 200 metres from the mine, I have explored what appears to be a natural cave which has been uncovered by quarrying. Additionally, in numerous locations worked by the quarry, beautiful calcite formations exist, which would have been deep underground. These are created by centuries of mineral-rich water flowing through the fissures and caves now partially destroyed by the workings. The site takes its name from traditional warreners, whose livelihood would have been rabbits, a warren being an interconnecting mass of rabbit tunnels, though perhaps the name has a deeper meaning. The close association of Neolithic remains to these workings also piques my interest, makes me wonder if perhaps exposed natural caves and passages existed here long before the quarrying effort. Whatever the explanation, these natural and man-made passages still hold secrets today, and perhaps are linked. The ruins remain a curious and somewhat haunting glimpse into our local history, and if anyone has any further information, please reach out to me. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch my videos, and if you find them enjoyable, please consider subscribing to my channel.